If you know me at all, you'll know that I barely know how to cook scrambled eggs. So, knowing that, the only logical thing to do is to try to make one of the fanciest dishes ever, beef Wellington. Beef Wellington consists of a Chateaubriand, which is a type of tenderloin or something, wrapped in Duxelles, prosciutto, crepes, and puff pastry. Since I couldn't find a Chateaubriand, I got an eye of round. Now that I think about it, I probably shouldn't have done that considering it's an entirely different piece of meat. No one knows for sure where beef Wellington originated, but it's generally assumed that it originated with the English Arthur Wesley, who was the hero of the Battle of Waterloo, Duke of Wellington, and later Prime Minister. One popular theory about its origin is that he didn't care about what he was served and let his cook make whatever he liked, and his cook chose this one. Another theory is that it originated in France, but it was renamed during the war. This dish is also Gordon Ramsay's signature dish. Personally, I've never tried beef Wellington or attempted to make it, but I'm super excited to try. Also, even though this is an in-real-life video, I will not be showing my face. Sorry. If you do enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe with notifications on. Also join my Discord for polls and stuff. Without further ado, let's start. Note, editing insanity here. I just wanted to let everyone know that this video is super difficult to make. I was using my phone and it sometimes just ran out of space or died without letting me know. I also recorded a few of the clips sideways, so if they look weird, that's why. To start it out, I took a pretty big knife from the knife thingy and I just kind of started cutting into the beef. I was sawing a bit because it wasn't cutting as well as I hoped. That was my first piece. And this actually it was a lot more difficult than I thought it might be. I wasn't getting super big slices, so after I got that one, I decided I was definitely going to need a sharper knife. So I threw that one in the sink, and I returned with a slightly smaller knife, yep, there it is. I had a different knife for it, but I was going to use that knife to cut the vegetables and stuff. So here, I can tell it's working better because I got a pretty huge slice, and it was cutting a lot better. This is what it looked like in the end. I was hoping it would be a bit more round, but it's kind of hard to get a round shape with a knife, unless you have like one of those spinny things. So I turned the beef sideways, put the saran wrap over it, and the point of this was to try to get it a bit more round, kind of a nice cylindrical shape. Shook it a bit to try to get it more conformed with the saran wrap. And I just kind of started rolling it around. That was actually a lot more difficult than it looked in the video. So here I have my mushrooms. I thought that they were going to be at least a pound, but they weren't. I only had half a pound of mushrooms. So, I don't know, I just kind of decided to roll with it because, I didn't have anything else, and I wasn't about to ask my mom if we could go to the store tomorrow after I had already begun. So I cut them up. I diced them up pretty nicely, but after reviewing the footage, they were not nearly as small as they needed to be. And then I had to peel a shallot, which, if you've ever done anything difficult, forget it. Peeling a shallot is harder. I cut off the ends of the shallot, and this was like 10 times worse than an onion. My eyes stung so bad. My eyes were just watering so much. It was, yikes, it was horrible. Then I had to cut up 3 cloves of garlic, which was actually really difficult because I can't really use the claw on them. And then I put my stuff in the pan. I dropped my knife, which I don't want to do that. Then I just kind of stirred it. Then I added my mushrooms to the mix, and I added a knife, and then I sprinkled generously with salt, as the video said. By the way, this recipe is by Joshua Weissman, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Go subscribe to him right now on YouTube. He's great, honestly. Then I started stirring my mushrooms in, and then I put some olive oil on a separate pan while my Duxelles was cooling down. And I grabbed some tongs, and I grabbed my beef, and I laid my beef on the pan, and I might have splashed myself a little bit with hot oil, which wasn't great. And it cooked a lot faster than I expected, honestly. It was like brown in 3 seconds. It was crazy. So this was the most difficult part because I had to get, the ends. My mom actually helped with this a bit because she's pretty great at cooking. Shout out to her. I actually got the ends a couple times, just because. Yeah, I think I got splashed with oil a couple times, like the oil just jumped out of the pan and smacked me. It kind of hurt, but it was fine because it was just tiny droplets. So then I got it at the edge of the pan. Again, I don't know why I got the end so many times. I think it was focused on it because the video that you gotta do that. So then I had my mom put a cutting board down so I could place the beef down. And I got out a nice Dijon mustard that I had in my fridge. And I took a brush and I started brushing it onto my beef. Now this Dijon mustard actually wasn't the best because it had so little actual liquid mustard. It had so much of like the grainy stuff, so I took out a yellow mustard and put that on instead. Then I made a crepe, demonstrated how crunchy it was in the middle, because I failed on so many levels on that one. Sorry if this is blurry, by the way. I don't know why it focused on the pepper shaker in the foreground. So then I started laying out some of my prosciutto, which I had bought from Albertsons. No, it's a Safeway now. And then I tried some prosciutto afterwards. So let me tell you, it's pretty great. So then I started laying my duxelle, I don't know how to pronounce it. I started laying my mushrooms and stuff on the crepe with the prosciutto, which is like half of the stuff mentioned in the list at the beginning. And I started spreading it out pretty evenly. Normally, it's supposed to be like a lot finer, so it didn't spread super great. So then I put my beef on the crepe, and moment of truth, I was hoping it was gonna roll all the way so that the crepe would touch the other end, but as I discovered, it was barely not enough, and now there was a gaping hole in the back of the crepe, so I made another one. That one didn't turn out super great. As you can see, I turned the pan, I left it on too high, so it started cooking before I could spread it out, as crepes sometimes do, which is the most annoying thing about them. So then I put then I put my new crepe on the plate, and I took my beef Wellington, or my almost done beef Wellington, and I just kind of rolled it around in the new crepe, and there was an even bigger hole in the back now. So much exposed prosciutto, which was a huge problem, but at least it covered the rest. And this is what I said. Well, I did my best. So, yeah, that was so then I grabbed my puff pastry, which had been thawing for the last hour and a half or so. It would have been thawing that entire time, so that was more like 2.5 hours. Because I started about 9:30 p.m. and I finished at about, no, I didn't finish, but this was about midnight right here. So I spread out my puff pastry. I was thinking of rolling it, but, always want to do things the hard way. And I put my beef Wellington in the puff pastry, and I started rolling it in the puff pastry. Yeah, this didn't roll as well as I had hoped. It was a bit more difficult than I thought, but I don't know. I got the job done, and it connected at the base actually after I stretched it out a bit. So I started kind of closing it in. And, don't want it to be exposed in any area. Then I patted it shut because I thought the only thing left to do was to refrigerate it. Now, no, this was okay. It wasn't the best. It was about what I expected, but I was not about to settle for anything less than the best. Well, I was, but then it fell out of the fridge, so I had to make an entirely new crepe. I start with crepe number, I think it's like number 4 or something. It took a while. And it starts spreading it around on the pan, and it's going pretty good so far, but in the middle you can see it starts like bubbling and spreading out. I actually managed to flip this one, which was pretty great, honestly. Spread out the actual crepe a little bit, and I got that one done. So I pour out another crepe, and spread it out. I spilled a little bit here, but don't worry. For those of you with like OCD and stuff, I cleaned it up. Don't worry. So here the problem is I'm trying to get the crepe paddle underneath the crepe, but I have to pinch / grab the actual crepe with my hand to get it under, which really hurts because this is a crepe that's on a pan that's on high heat. I managed to get it and I flip it over and it's a bit brown, but the important part is it's not crackly at all. So I take my 2 crepes here and I move my beef Wellington over so I can have my 1 crepe right there. And then I have my other crepe overlap, but that one doesn't look too great, but it's fine, I guess. And I take the beef Wellington and I slowly wrap it in the crepe. And it's going pretty good so far. I don't want any of the prosciutto or duxelle to fall out, so I'm going very slowly and very carefully. And it actually works out. So I was pretty happy with the way it turned out. And it connects at the base and I think a little bit more. I put the puff pastry on and somehow that video got deleted. But I make an egg wash using some eggs and some milk. I forgot to do the egg wash on the inside, but on the outside I still can. So I brush the puff pastry gently with the egg wash, which is kind of fun because I like using the food brush. It's very, very nice. And then I sprinkle with salt, and then I sprinkle with salt one more time, and then here it goes into the oven. This isn't the best shots because I had to use one hand. I'm sorry for this, but it's just kind of the moment of truth. And this is what it comes out after 22 minutes. This is what it comes out to. It's fabulously golden brown and it looks really good. So I realized I didn't finish it on the end. And I start cutting into it, hoping it's going to be medium rare or maybe medium. And it's pretty much that. It's really pink. I mean, not super pink. The camera can't see it super well because it's a bit dark, but yeah, it's pretty pink. I'd say it's somewhere between medium and medium rare, which is what I hoped, I guess. But now here's the most important part, the taste test. So I took a piece and I tasted it, and surprisingly, it was great. It tasted super nice. It was very, very juicy. I liked how the beef and the duxelle complemented each other fabulously, and also prosciutto. So yeah, this was a very fun project to make, I must say, even if sometimes it was painful. So yeah, I want to thank you all so much for watching. This video took me many hours and almost $50 to create, so if you did enjoy, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing with notifications on. It helps out a ton. Also join the Discord so you can play with bots and do polls and stuff. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!